Hello, how you doing out there? It's the Table 12 podcast with Paul and Rob. Dan is still away. He's going to be back hopefully next Tuesday. But we wanted to keep rolling on and try to get out a show, at least one. So how you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Paul.
What'd you do? Anything exciting this past few days?
Yeah, we actually we went to our old stomping grounds. We were down in Toms River. We were going to attend the Atlantic City Offshore Grand Prix and Freak Fest, but our travel plans were to go down by boat. And unfortunately, it rained both Friday and Saturday, so it really didn't make sense to go down by boat, in the rain.
Yeah.
So we wound up staying, up closer to Toms River, went to some restaurants, visited with some friends. Sunday, we were able to get out on a boat, and if anybody knows the Jersey Shore, on the bay side, you got Ticey Shoals, which is great. It's part of Island Beach State Park. And what's neat about it is, in Ticey's on the bay, you can get in water about 2.5, 3 feet deep, depending on your boat. And you could actually walk across from the bay side to the beach side. Now, we didn't do that, but we've done it in the past. So it was a lot of fun. But, when you get together with friends that you haven't seen in a long time, it's a lot of laughs. It's a lot of laughs, and it's a lot of... Sometimes there's a little bit of heartbreak, too. Like the one girl, we haven't seen in 10 years, and she went through breast cancer. And now she's a survivor. But, she went through that, and we were pretty close. I mean, not that we saw each other on every holiday, but during the time we were down there, we were close. So, it's... People's lives change, and it was interesting because some of these people we hadn't seen in 10 years, so that's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, I got my class reunion coming up. I'm still on the fence about going down. It's down in Bayville, down in that area, down in the Toms River area. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Bayview Pub or something down there.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know me, it's tough for me to make a decision on going anywhere. But
how many people could possibly be there, Paul?
Well, I know it's 50 years. We lost 27 class members since 1976.
And how big was your class?
Oh, Christ. I don't remember how many. But, it's just like every time you go, I mean, I lost a lot of good friends since the last time we had one. But, you got to get a room. You got to do all of that. So I'm still on the fence. I got people calling me, wanting me to go. It's been 50 years. Last time when I graduated, it was the 200th anniversary. So I guess, I'm doing the math here. But now it's 50 years later. It's 250th of the country.
Right.
But still, I got to work that out the next day or two. So we'll see what happens. I'll give you a report on that one. I'm sure you'll be interested to see if I definitely
When is that?
It's in September, but I got to get the money in. I got to start booking a room, So that's what that's at.
You should go. Spread your wings. Spread,
you know me.
All that Paul Marino love. Stick it out there.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, my wife was in Florida. Her and Aiden and Donna, and they had a good time. They just got back yesterday. But while they were gone, I was trying to get stuff done. And I told you in previous weeks about the Optimum and trying to get technology and straightened out. So when I went back, I had to exchange a box, and they told me, well, you can't just change one box. You got to change them all now because now there's no more cable line. They want you to take all the cable lines out. I don't know if you heard of this before, but so now I got 5 TVs with all these cable boxes that work off the internet and the Wi-Fi. So that was interesting. Trying to get all of that with they sent a guy who was more than capable of knowing his job, but he couldn't speak a word of English. So I had trouble. I'm trying to learn something, and I got somebody talking to me in Spanish.
Right.
That was very interesting there. So it took me four times. I had to go to Sparta with the old box, and they told me, oh, you got to set up an appointment. You got to get you all this new equipment, and they all work off each other. So anything that you do on one, you could see on the other. That's the new technology now. So it took me one going down to Sparta, and then 3 different technicians to come, and I finally think I got it straightened out this morning. But then you got all the wires that are left over from all the cable lines,
right?
Trying to get them pulled out and everything. It's a mess. But it's in. We'll see if it works. I'm sure I'll be calling the guy back in the day because I can't figure something out.
Right.
But in the meantime, we got to see a great baseball weekend. and I mean that sarcastically. The Yankees got swept in Boston. Okay, the Boston Massacre. All right. I mean, it looked like Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale were pitching. And that's my friend Rusty said to me on the phone or texted me about it. The four pitchers, I think they almost had two no-hitters. Sonny Gray almost had a no-hitter last night. And last night's game, they were able to come back and score two in the ninth to tie the game. And then went into extra innings. In the 10th inning, the Yankees at the top of the 10th put two runs across. So now they have a 4-2 lead. And then in the bottom of the 10th, Cruz comes in and blows the game and it lets up three, and they walk it off in 10 just to finish off the sweep. And, the Red Sox are in last place, but they're not to me, they're not a last place team. They got some good players on there. Now, if you look at their pitching, I don't know if they're gonna be able to repeat what they did to the Yankees, but they certainly look formidable. And the Yankees are playing with let's face it, they're playing with a lot of guys that are were normally backup roles, and they have to start because they got three key injuries. And we have an injury in the starting rotation, Max Fried. He hasn't come back yet. I mean, Cole pitched decent, but he had one bad inning again. He has one bad inning and lets up a couple of home runs, and it's lights out. And they just can't get enough runs across. They were like their runners in scoring position was like, I don't know, 2 for 24. It was ridiculous. So now they come home. I think they play Detroit, and we'll see if they can rebound. It's a long season yet, and if they get a couple of guys back, and I'm sure they're going to make a couple of moves at the trade deadline. They're getting absolutely nothing out of the catcher position whatsoever. They got two catchers that cannot hit. Wells completely fell off the map. I don't know what happened to him. He was, he had some good parts of years in the past, but like this year, it's like he's lost. There's nothing's going on. So I think they need a couple of upgrades. Their bullpen is not good enough to make a run in the playoffs. It's just not. They've blown a lot of games. Bednar has closed the games pretty well now, but he's still a little shaky at times. But everybody else, when they come in, it's not like you're saying lights out. Okay, we're going to close the game out. And they're especially bad in extra inning games. They lose almost every extra inning game. So we'll see what happens. They're getting close to the All-Star break, and I don't think you're going to see Aaron Judge until August 1st. He's not even starting up things. I don't know when Stanton's coming back. But, Trent Grisham, I believe, was activated yesterday. I didn't get to see all of the game last night. I think he might have played.
What's up with Judge?
Well, he has broken ribs, and so he was. They were supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. So now, I mean, they're not going to bring him back. I'm thinking after the All-Star break, he might be ready to do some activities, and then possibly a couple of games, and then I'd say August 1st he'll be back, somewhere in that vicinity, give or take a week. But you can only do so much. I mean, the players that are there playing, they're a good bench, bench depth. But now that they're playing every day, they've been making errors. They're just not as good. Jazz Chisholm is still Jazz Chisholm. He's all over the map. He got thrown out yesterday for throwing his helmet. I mean, every day it's something. It's either a lollipop or he's going nuts over something else. So, it's a little bit crazy. I never asked you, are you a Met or Yankee fan or a non-baseball fan?
I'm really a non-baseball fan. For some reason, I just never got into it. I think I've only been to 2 or 3 games in my whole life. And I just don't find it that exciting. So they say if you're into baseball, though, and you follow the stats or you study the stats, that can make it more interesting. But I just never did.
Well, I could watch a baseball game, but sometimes with baseball, you might switch to something else for something if something else is on, and just keep checking back if you want to. I don't have to watch the entire 9 innings complete, depending on what type of a game it is. If the Yankees are getting blown out, or I'll turn the channel for a little while, see if they get back in it. I'm not going to watch it if they're getting last night the guy had a no-hitter, and Sonny Gray could not pitch for the Yankees. Couldn't get anybody out with the Yankees. Everywhere else he's fine. Now Boston, I mean, you would think Boston, that's a pressure cooker up there. You go into a team that with a big baseball history, and he seems seems to be fine. But New York, some people just can't do it in New York, and he's one of them. And he has no problem, rubbing it in on the Yankees. And, he even opens his mouth a lot and says, I'm a Red Sox. Look, you couldn't do it with this team, with the Yankees. I don't want to hear you talking about how good you are now. It's a fact, though. Some of these guys can't play for the Yankees, and they thrive elsewhere.
Why do you think that is?
There's a lot of pressure. And, I mean, he blamed the coaching staff that they didn't use me right. They didn't let me pitch the way I normally pitch. They were telling me to do this and that. He blamed them, for his lack of success. So who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, Randy Johnson came to the Yankees, and he did not do well. He didn't like the media. He's a type of a guy that doesn't want to talk to anybody. So he was good in places like Houston and Seattle because not a lot of media, But that's how you find out about a player, That's why, like, when I see what Jalen Brunson did, I don't want to switch gears yet, the pressure he had on him and the way he thrived. Not too many people can do that. But on the other side of town, the Mets, they're not lighting it up either. They have, I think they won out of the last 15 games, they won one game. And they got beat by the Phillies yesterday, 5-4, and they lost 2 out of 3 to them. The Mets can't get out of their own way, and they got a tough schedule coming up. And they're 34 and 49. So who knows with them?
Are they playing this week?
They're playing tonight in Toronto.
Okay.
So that's not going to be easy. And they go to Atlanta, and then they play Milwaukee coming up, the Dodgers coming up, the Phillies again. Not going to be easy. But they may be selling people at the deadline. But who knows? Because they're not going to be buying anybody. They might be able to get rid of some people. But they roll on. So anyway, the Knicks. I started to talk about Brunson. The Knicks, I think free agency starts July 1st, and I think there's a few guys that we may lose. I think a lot of teams are looking to give Mitchell Robinson more money than the Knicks could, and or want to. And I think Landry Shamet is one guy. They already restructured Alvarado because he opted out. They gave him a 3-year deal for $15 million, so he's going to be there for 3 more years. So that's a good sign because he came on good at the end of the year in the playoffs, especially in the last series. He did well. So we'll see what happens with that. And the golf, you had a playoff in the Travelers this weekend, and Scheffler lost in the playoff. He missed a 2-foot putt, and Hovland won and beat him in the playoff. So Scheffler missed a key putt, and Hovland stinked one for birdie, and that's how the golf went. So Scheffler was winning pretty much down the stretch, and he just couldn't hold on. The rain got bad, and they had to stop for a while. They had to play that the next morning, which was this morning. They finished it up. So I don't know how that affected him with the rain, but everybody had the same problem. But a lot of guys were already in the clubhouse. But Scheffler missed a tough one, and Hovland hit one at the end to sink it and win the tournament. So good luck to him.
Yeah,
congratulations. So hopefully we'll be able to come back next week with Dan at the mic and see if we can do a little bit more content than we have been. So we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, and everybody be mindful of the weather this week. It's going to be extremely hot. Stay hydrated. Stay inside. Be careful. And we will be on Tuesday next week, not Monday, due to the 4th of July weekend. So I'm sure Paul does too. We want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July this coming weekend.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.